Part 32. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 311. As if sensing Cheng Xiaomei's roar, Chen Ling spoke. She buried her face in his chest and said in a muffled voice, "Brother Lan, let's go. There are too many onlookers here." John Killen raised his hand and rubbed the back of her head, then released his embrace. He walked to the passenger seat and opened the door for Chen Ling. Chen Ling sat on it, and when she was about to retract her other leg into the car, John Killen squatted down and grabbed her slender ankle. The ankles exposed to the cold air were held by his gentle hands. The contrast between hot and cold made Chen Ling tremble slightly. "It's getting cold," John Killen said, carefully lowering her rolled-up trouser legs to cover the exposed skin. His fingers were slightly rough, rubbing against Chen Ling's white and tender ankles, which made people feel panicked. After adjusting a pair of trouser legs, he did not get up, but waited. Chen Ling then moved his other leg out. She looked down at him. "My brother Lan is so good looking." He was very serious about arranging his trousers, just as meticulous as if he were doing something particularly important. After everything was sorted, John Killen took out a small handful of snacks from his jacket pocket, spread them out in his palm, and handed them to Chen Ling. "Brought back from Bangsa country, I heard it tastes good. Try it." His hands were large and had many scrapes and scratches accumulated over time. His slender fingers were slightly opened, and 5 or 6 small and exquisite snack packaging bags were spread out in his palm. Chen Ling grabbed the snacks. John Killen saw that she had put away her hands and feet before closing the door for her. Chen Ling looked at the snacks in trance. She felt confused in time and space for a moment. "Brother Lan, many of my habits are really the same as before." The carriage was small and private, so John Killen tried his best to behave naturally. He looked at Chen Ling sideways as naturally as possible. Seeing Chen Ling's stunned expression, he asked, "What's wrong? Do you not like eating?" Chen Ling came back to his senses and shook his head gently. "I love eating." She tore open a package and put the small meat floss and seaweed roll inside into her mouth. "It tastes pretty good." Chen Ling raised his hand and handed another piece of seaweed roll in the package to John Killen's mouth. "Brother Lan, you should try it too." The clear and smooth fingers held a purple-black seaweed roll and hung it not far from the tip of John Killen's nose. John Killen hesitated for a moment, then lowered his head and carefully opened his mouth to take the snack, put it in his mouth and chewed it. John Killen wasn't too interested in these gadgets. He chewed a few mouthfuls, swallowed them, and asked her, "Where do you want to go?" "Want to try the outdoor barbecue in the mountains?" Chen Ling asked. "I think." John Killen nodded. Chen Ling took out a wet tissue and wiped his fingers, then brought up the navigation screen of the main console and entered the address, Maple City Starry Sky Camping Club. This place is located in the northern suburbs of Maple City, a large open space on the mountainside with a gentle slope. The boss has set up many tents, with a spacing of about 10 meters between the tents. In addition, barbecue grills and skewered meat skewers are provided for guests to grill. Perhaps it was because of the familiar hug and Brother Ian's habit of always preparing snacks for himself that it brought back memories from long ago. Chen Ling wanted to relieve the feeling of chatting with Brother Lan behind closed doors. At the camping barbecue, you can not only chat, but also cook barbecue for Brother Lan. The navigation machine made a cold voice. "Set off. The total distance is 23 kilometers and the estimated time is 36 minutes. John Killen started the car. The carriage was quiet for a while. Seeing the person he thought about day and night, John Killen's heart was filled to the brim, and he was full of things to say but didn't know where to start. Chen Ling started talking. "How is the case in Bangsa country going?" John Killen replied, "Sure enough, the Mingdeng sect is developing its followers in our country, and it already has several strongholds. Thanks to your information, these strongholds in the country have been completely destroyed. A group of criminals have been arrested, and 3 people who were almost imprisoned have been successfully rescued. Made into capsule babies. In addition, we have negotiated with Bangsa country and asked them to restrain and discipline the Mingdeng cult. However, the effect is not great. As for Bangsa country, because it involves complex issues such as religious belief, it is not convenient to deal with it on a large scale. We can only arrest a few believers with previous criminal records, which can be considered as a warning to the monkeys. What we can do is strictly control our country's borders and be wary of the infiltration of the Minglang cult. Chen Ling said softly. After John Killen finished talking about his own affairs, he asked her, "What about you? How are you doing lately? What are you busy with?" The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 312. As for me, everything went smoothly. Chen Ling didn't plan to elaborate. After she finished speaking, she peeled off the skin of another snack and stuffed it into her mouth. John Killen refused to accept it. "Be more specific, I want to know." "Well, it's just exercise, looking up some things on the internet and sorting some things out. By the way, the novel I wrote is about to be finished. I will be the heroine in it, and I'm currently casting." John Killen asked, "Huh?" Chen Ling smiled proudly. He, Brother Lan, didn't I tell you that I write novels? I have a lot of fans of my novels." Her eyes flashed with a strange look. In front of others, writing novels is not worth talking about, but in front of Brother Lan, she couldn't help but curl her tail and ask for praise. "You are amazing," John Killen praised her sincerely. "Weren't you very busy before? You wrote novels in your spare time, right?" Chen Ling said proudly, "That's right, but my fans scold me every day. Hey, author, why are you updating so slowly? I haven't updated this book for half a year, and they come to urge me to update every day. I finally finished this book, and they urged me to start a new book. Ah, anxious." She said anxiously, but she smiled happily. John Killen said in a gentle tone, "It seems that you have a good relationship with your book fans. You must have been very tired when you were on missions before? Even so tired, you still insisted on writing novels. It seems that you really love writing." Chen Ling said seriously, "Yes. I like writing." John Killen's voice was clear. "I remember reading a sentence that said that as a person, the happiest thing is to create. Because creation is the closest to the godhood. A world can be born at the tip of a pen, a world can also fall at the tip of a pen. It's amazing to think about it." After a pause, John Killen asked cautiously, "Can I take a look at your novel?" "Of course." Chen Ling nodded. "I'll send it to your phone later." "No need," John Killen said, holding the steering wheel with one hand and taking out his phone from his pocket with the other hand. "Just use my phone to help me operate it." Chen Ling took the phone and raised her eyebrows. "Aren't you afraid that I will see the secret hidden in your phone?" John Killen chuckled. "It's you, Chen Ling." John Killen sighed, his voice low and with a vague smile. "I said the biggest secret in my phone is you." Chen Ling didn't say anything. John Killen was a little worried. Did she think that he was talking too frivolously, like teasing her? John Killen glanced at her hurriedly. Chen Ling's eyes were sparkling, her face and ears were red, and her eyebrows and mouth were curved. Is she shy? The way she looks now is really irresistible. John Killen's eyes swept across her small and crystal lips again. His eyes darkened and he clenched the steering wheel. I really want to kiss her. She is strong, brave, kind, and now shy and cute. He likes them all. There was a wild impulse to crush her into his flesh and blood, and never separate from her. Chen Ling asked softly with a little smile, "Where did you hide your secret?" John Killen hesitated for a while and said softly, there is a document called Lock in the mobile phone folder Important Files. Chen Ling found the document with a deep path and opened it. This is a document similar to PPT, with pictures and text. She read a paragraph casually and felt that these words seemed familiar. Chen Ling looked back and remembered what these words were. These are all things she had posted on WeChat Moments. John Killen went through her WeChat Moments and carefully sorted out her preferences. He also highlighted the things she hated. In fact, many of them were posted casually by herself and could not be counted, but John Killen carefully recorded every one of them. And the pictures were all photos of her life posted on WeChat Moments. Chen Ling felt full and swollen in her heart. Apart from the bond from 800 years ago, Chen Ling felt that even if she had no memory, she would fall in love with John Killen again. A man's charm lies in his openness and sense of responsibility, and in whether he truly respects the other person and takes the other person's likes and dislikes seriously. He favors himself seriously and without reservation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 313. Chen Ling traced John Killen's outline with his eyes. The lights on the highway passed by quickly, and John Killen's face flickered on and off under the light, giving people a sense of trance. The faces of the past life and the present life gradually overlap. John Killen's nose was high, her thin lips looked cold, and her black eyes were as deep and quiet as abyss water. The jawline is tight, tightening into a delicate but not feminine chin. Further down, there is the masculine Adam's apple, protruding and clean. What does it feel like to touch? John Killen had long noticed her gaze. Under her gaze, he felt like there were thorns all over his body. He wanted to move, but he didn't know how. It seemed like a century had passed before Chen Ling finally looked away and spoke. Brother Lan, how should I reward you for pursuing me so seriously? Award. Before John Killen could reply, the co-pilot Chen Ling moved. She leaned toward him, put her lips on his right cheek, and kissed him gently. Here, the reward. Chen Ling smiled with his eyes bent. She was satisfied to see that Brother Lan was stiff all over. She smiled and said, next time if you have any questions, you can ask me directly. I used to be, not a single person who was sensible. The content in the circle of friends may not always be my true feelings. John Killen felt that the blood all over his body was roaring and rushing. He couldn't help but hold the steering wheel tightly and glanced at the navigation. There are still 3 kilometers to go. He looked at a highway exit and drove out. The navigation immediately and dutifully announced, you have deviated from the route. The new route is expected to take 3 minutes. Hey, Brother Lan, why did you drive out of the highway? Chen Ling was a little surprised, and she looked out the window. It was dark outside, and there were almost no cars or people on the night streets in the suburbs. John Killen pursed her lips and said in a low voice, I'm not satisfied with this reward. As he spoke, he skillfully drove the car to an open space on the side of the road and turned on the double flashers. Then, he turned around and looked at the co-pilot, Chen Ling, who had bright eyes. His eyes were filled with hot emotions, and his breath was hot. He almost whispered, can I kiss you? Chen Ling blushed and nodded slightly. John Killen unbuckled his seat belt, leaned towards Chen Ling, and put his right hand around the back of her head. His lips met hers. This time he was in no rush to leave. Instead, he slowly touched hers with his lips. Chen Ling's breath blew on his face like feathers. The breaths blended together, and this soft and sweet feeling was injected into the body with a powerful anesthetic needle, numbing all the way from the lips to the brain and the spine. John Killen tentatively deepened the kiss. He licked Chen Ling's lips greenly and nervously. Then, he tasted Chen Ling. That feeling is sinking. There was more intimacy between them, the kiss was dizzying. He felt as if he had been hit by violent waves. All his senses were disabled and his brain refused to think. Just follow your instinct and kiss her. Until Chen Ling kissed him back. Bold, eager, unrestrained. Mainly anti-customer. Her hand quietly went up to his Adam's apple and touched it. Feel the rise and fall of the ridge on your fingers. Finally, she let go of John Killen's lips. John Killen's thin lips were brightly colored, his eyes were filled with hot emotions, and his face had a heart-stopping blush. Brother Lan. Chen Ling was startled by his own voice, which was like the meow of a coquettish cat. She cleared her throat and returned to her normal voice. It's promised as a reward, I should take the initiative. John Killen said nothing. He was trying to calm his breathing and heartbeat, but he just raised his hand and gently scratched her small nose with his index finger, then sat upright in the driver's seat and put the seat belt back on. He needs to quickly go to a crowded place. If Chen Ling hadn't taken the initiative to end the kiss, he might have tasted it forever. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 314. The car started again. The two of them were silent. The heartwarming kiss just now made them unable to extricate themselves. I want to taste it, but I don't dare to reflect too carefully. The road behind became flat and straight and turned into a winding mountain road. After a few minutes, the car arrived at the gate of the camping club. After all, it's autumn, and camping isn't as popular as it is in spring and summer. The parking space outside the gate is mostly empty. John Killen stopped the car, took a breath and turned to look at Chen Ling. The blush on Chen Ling's face had not completely subsided, and the light outside the door reflected her eyes brightly. We're here, get ready to get off the car. John Killen couldn't help but raise her lips. Do you have a mask or something? Yes. Chen Ling took out the mask from his bag and put it on, as well as his sewing hat. John Killen got out of the car and opened the door for her. As soon as they got off the car, John Killen took her hand. The campground was very quiet, a large area of tents with only 3 or 5 lights on. The two of them booked the outermost tent. Although it was windy, the scenery was better. Chen Ling also asked for an outdoor barbecue grill, 10 skewers of chicken wings, 50 skewers of mutton and beef skewers, 20 skewers of assorted vegetables, and individually packaged seasonings. John Killen checked around the tent to make sure it was tied firmly. The waiter has already helped to light the barbecue stove and arrange the skewers on several iron shelves. You too can enjoy it slowly. If necessary, you can ring the service bell. The waiter gave Chen Ling a remote control. Several buttons: add fire, add water, add dishes and call. Chen Ling thanked her, and when the waiter walked away, she took off her knitted hat and mask. John Killen reached for the skewers, but was blocked by Chen Ling. Brother Lan, sit down and relax. I'll bake it today. Chen Ling was very serious. Chen Ling tied her long hair into a bun and wiped her hands. John Killen sat on the picnic chair and watched her grab the seasonings, pour a little on the back of her hand, and taste them one by one. Then, she skillfully picked up the skewers, separated them one by one, and spread them out on the barbecue grill that was burning with flames. She stared at the skewers, turning her wrists from time to time, turning the meat skewers licked by the tongue of fire, and sometimes sprinkled some of the seasoning, and now a little of that seasoning. The oil on the skewers gradually secretes out, and occasionally it makes 2 squeaking sounds, which can be heard far away in the quiet autumn night. He looked up at the stars, and his heart had never been so content. The first batch of skewers, the thin slices of mutton that Chen Ling selected for easy grilling, has already been grilled. She transferred the meat skewers to a stainless steel plate covered with a plastic bag, and then placed some chicken wings and rib skewers that were not easy to cook on the grill. Brother Lan, Let's eat the meat skewers first. Cheng Ling placed the plate on the picnic table and sat down on the picnic chair on the other side. Thinly sliced mutton slices, grilled at just the right heat, and sprinkled with a little bit of bright red chili pepper, will make your salivary glands secrete quickly. The hard-to-cook chicken wings and ribs were roasting on the fire, so Cheng Ling could eat them with him. John Killen picked up a barbecue skewer and Cheng Ling looked at him with burning eyes. She was a little nervous. This is the first time that Brother Lan eats something she made. He gently bit the piece of meat with his teeth, tilted his head slightly, and took a whole piece of mutton into his mouth. The lamb is grilled at just the right temperature, and the meat is fragrant and pliable. The tongue rolls around the meat and pushes it to the teeth. The unique aroma of the strong charcoal roasted protein is felt between the lips and teeth. Then the tongue slowly tasted other flavors, and the salty and spicy taste spread in the mouth one after another. John Killen's eyes lit up. It's so delicious. Cheng Ling breathed a sigh of relief, then eat more. Will it feel spicy? No, it's just right. John Killen swallowed the meat in his mouth and thought about it for a while. It's really delicious. You can eat it too. Good. Cheng Ling picked up the meat skewers, one for each of us, and one for me to eat. Occasionally, Cheng Ling would stand up and go back to the barbecue, sprinkle some seasoning on the skewers on the fire, and flip them. John Killen opened a bottle of drink and poured it into glasses, one for each person. The trees are thick and the mountain breeze is whistling. The two of them occasionally touched glasses, mixed with John Killen's compliments. Cheng Ling was satisfied. Those dream days are back. After eating and drinking, Cheng Ling dragged out a mat from the tent and spread it on the ground. She lay down first. John Killen then lay down next to her. There is a distance of about 1 meter in between. The two looked at the sky. Under the starry sky, people can realize their own insignificance. Only the people around you can give you a real sense of existence. The two of them looked at the stars quietly and listened to the wind. The sound of beer glasses clinking came from the tent in the distance. John Killen spoke softly, Cheng Ling, why did you bring me here? Although it is indeed quiet here and you can really be in nature, there are many places that meet these conditions, but Cheng Ling chose this one. Moreover, he could not mistake it. When Cheng Ling looked at him, his eyes were far away. It made him feel that she was looking at someone else through him. Cheng Ling breathed out leisurely, and instead of answering his question, he raised a new question, Brother Lan, have you ever thought about whether life is constantly reincarnating? John Killen said calmly, I haven't thought about this problem. Cheng Ling said softly, perhaps, you and I were once close friends. Perhaps, this situation has happened before. Coming here is just following my heart. John Killen was silent for a while. He said, what if only one of the two people has the past memories? How lonely and heavy would it be for the person who carries the memories that originally belonged to both of them? Then, he asked again, so, Cheng Ling, are you the one who carries the memories of both of them? The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 315. After John Killen asked the question, Cheng Ling fell silent. John Killen could never explain the change in Cheng Ling's attitude towards him. Unless, as she just said, life is a process of continuous reincarnation. And she, by some chance, got the memory of the past. A memory that belongs to him and her. Cheng Ling sighed softly, Brother Lan, sometimes I think, if you are not so sensitive, it would be better. John Killen said, if I am not so sensitive, will you still accept me? Cheng Ling did not speak, but fumbled to hold John Killen's hand. Her voice trembled a little, everything is so beautiful now, so beautiful that I am afraid that all this is just a dream. What if one day I wake up from the dream and it turns out to be just a dream, and I am still alone? So, I am very serious every second, I have to remember my feelings now. Even if I wake up and find that what I am experiencing now is just a dream, the memory of the dream is enough to support me to complete the rest of the journey. John Killen held Chen Ling's hand. He slightly raised his upper body and looked at Chen Ling beside him. Chen Ling's expression was very calm, but her voice revealed a hint of helplessness, anxiety, and confusion that she had never had before. Chen Ling smiled lightly, and her smile was very lonely. Brother Lan, those memories are strange to you, but heavy to me. So, I don't want to mention it. Don't mention it if you don't want to. John Killen lay down again, stroking the back of Chen Ling's hand. Then, was I good to you before? Very good, Chen Ling said seriously. Very, very good. Just like now. John Killen held her hand slightly hard. Then I will work harder and strive to be better than before. The mountain wind was getting stronger and stronger, and the temperature gradually dropped. The two lay quietly for a while, and Chen Ling sat up. Brother Lan, it's a bit cold, we should go back. Okay, John Killen stood up and went to pay the bill. The two returned to the car side by side. The original charming atmosphere was no longer there, and the two had their own concerns. They picked some trivial topics of the current situation and chatted casually for a few words. Soon, Chen Ling was sent to Cheng's house. Then I'm leaving, Brother Lan, you go home and have a good rest. Chen Ling waved goodbye. Send me a message when you get home. John Killen smiled faintly. Okay. You should also go to bed early. He drove the car all the way back to Jiang's house. The eldest young master is back. The housekeeper happily came forward to greet him. Has the mission been completed? Yes, John Killen nodded. Where is my father? The master is in the study. John Killen walked quickly to the study, opened the door, and Jiang's father was reading documents. Oh, Killen is back. I'm back. Dad, I want to ask you something. John Killen interrupted his father without caring about his upbringing. I remember when I was very young, you took me to our ancestral home in the south a few times, right? Jiang's father was slightly startled. Yeah, that was when you were about 5 or 6 years old. Why do you suddenly bring it up? Dad, why didn't we go to the ancestral temple to worship later? It's because of you. Every time you go to the ancestral temple, you say there is a ghost lying behind you and talking. Father John looked at his son, and every time you go to the ancestral temple, you get seriously ill. So you don't go anymore. What's wrong? A strange look flashed in John Killen's eyes. Give me the address, I'll go there. I remembered some past events, and I want to verify them. I'll write the address for you, Father John said, took out a pen and paper, wrote down the address, and raised his hand to hand it over. John Killen wanted to pull out the paper, but he couldn't pull it out. Father John held the paper in his hand, looked up at his son and said, but you can't go these days. Why? Your mother will be home tomorrow. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 316. John Killen paused. Who do you think is coming back? Your mother. Jiang's father's face, which was always dignified, showed a hint of smile. The formalities have been completed, and she is already on the plane. Then how long will she stay this time? She's not leaving, Jiang's father said. Your mother said that this time she will stay at home in China and will not travel around the world anymore. When I was a child, I looked forward to my mother's return countless times. My father was tough and my brother was naughty. Although he was precocious, he was still a child after all. Just because he was cold didn't mean that he had no emotions and didn't need love. Now that she was coming back, he felt unreal. After the initial surprise, John Killen suddenly thought of Chen Ling. Dad, I have to tell Cheng Ling about this, John Killen said, holding the phone and rushing out. Jiang's father stopped him and said, I told her the news the day after you went on the mission. She said, let it be. After a pause, Jiang's father looked at his son with an inquiring look. It's rare that you know how to take the initiative to care about others. John Killen said lightly, well, because I am pursuing her. Jiang's father. The son with a blocky head finally got it? John Killen glanced at the expression on his father's face and raised his eyebrows. What? Is there a problem? Father John shook his head. No problem. It can be regarded as Miss Cheng's fate. John Killen's eyelids drooped slightly, forming an unhappy angle. What's wrong with me? Father John said, there are problems everywhere. You are not frank, and your temper is hard and aggressive. Just look at your attitude towards your brother over the years and you will know. Your appearance is barely acceptable, but you rely on clothes. There are only a few sportswear and 2 suits in your closet. You often go on secret missions, which last from 10 days to half a month, and from several months to half a year. The most important thing is that you can't say sweet words. Girls need to be coaxed. John Killen. I was jealous of my past life, but when I heard this, my father's words made sense, and I lost my temper instantly. Father John didn't think it was enough, and continued to stab John Killen in the heart. Tell me yourself, what's wrong with Cheng Ling? She is good in every way. John Killen thought. That's why he was a little anxious. Jiang's father taught him earnestly, however, since Miss Cheng didn't reject you directly, it means you still have a chance when you have time. Send her more messages, make phone calls, and say something nice. Girls will fall for this. Back in his bedroom, John Killen hung up his coat, sat down at the desk, and stared at the WeChat chat page. Sweet words. Can't say it. The last message was him saying that he was home. Cheng Ling asked him to go to bed early. He replied with a good reply. John Killen thought for a while and edited a short message. You look very good today. He closed his eyes, made up his mind, and sent it out. Cheng Xiaoling. Cheng Xiaoling, has your account been hacked? John Killen. Lan, no, just telling you. Cheng Xiaoling, send a voice message to prove that it's me. John Killen pressed the call button, with a hint of helplessness in his tone. Cheng Ling, it's me. Cheng Xiaoling, covering her mouth and laughing. JPG. Lan. The slightly awkward atmosphere between the two of them because of talking about the past also eased. Lan, there is one more thing. I just found out that the overseas friend will be back tomorrow. Cheng Xiaoling, huh, tomorrow? Oh, that's right, it's almost time. Cheng Xiaoling, when do you need me to visit you? Just tell me directly. Cheng Xiaoling, no more chatting, my family is harassing me. Bye. Lan, goodbye. Putting down the phone, Cheng Ling looked at her mother and sister helplessly. The two of them stared at her with big eyes. Do you have any information to share? Cheng Xiaomei's smile gradually became obscene. What stage has it reached? Cheng's mother was more direct. Cheng Ling sighed, alas, we haven't confirmed our relationship yet. Don't say, sister, you are too slow, aren't you? Cheng Xiaomei was a little anxious. You are going to join the crew soon. What if Commander Zhang has a mission to go out, and you delay? Half a year or a year will pass. Mother Cheng stroked the emerald ring on her hand. The problem may still be the dress. Let's go, let's think about the shopping route tomorrow. The two left, and Cheng Ling fell on the bed with her head raised. Although Brother Lan is still Brother Lan, but she still has a weird feeling in her heart, similar to the guilt of falling in love with someone else. Besides, Brother Lan also cares a little. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 317. The next day. Chen Ling got up as usual, exercised, and put the final touches on the script. In the afternoon, I turned on the camera on time and waited for the selection of today's roles, Bai Cha and Mu King Soon. The casting studio was even more crowded today. Agents, along with their own artists, asked the staff for forms, scripts, information, water, toilet paper, and bathroom information. It's like parents taking their troubled children to school to register. The audition begins. The first person to come in was a fair-faced young man. Chen Ling waited for a while. Before I could wait for my mother's spicy comments and my sister's detailed introduction, my mother and sister went shopping today. It's hard to get used to the gossip and judgment without the two of them around. The audition artist had already started performing. Chen Ling concentrated and looked seriously. We're halfway through the audition. The candidate for White Tea has basically been decided, but no one can portray the two-faced feeling of Mu King Soon. The staff looked at the form and shouted to the door, Chen Yugzu. Audition Mu King Soon. As soon as they heard the name, the four casting teachers lowered their heads and looked at the forms in their hands. It's actually Chen Yugzu. Chen Yugzu is a wizard in the film and television industry, the kind of talented actor who chases after his grandfather and shouts, "Give me another bite." His first film was a low-budget film, which was a huge success. He won the China Golden Duck Award for Best Newcomer and Best Actor. The following year, he starred in the Police TV series, which set a ratings record with the highest ratings of 40.1% for a single episode. In the next 4 years, he starred in 3 TV series and 1 movie, and won almost every award he could win in China. His acting skills are natural, and he behaves exactly as he plays. Moreover, there are almost no similarities between the characters. Each character is created with subversive success. But for such a genius, just when his career was at its peak, he suddenly announced the good news of his marriage. The marriage partner is his agent, Tang Yuyan. Tang Yuyan is quite ordinary looking, and you wouldn't be able to spot the face of a popular girl in a crowd. Moreover, she is 3 years older than Chen Yugzu. Fans unfollowed them and insulted the two. Chen Yugzu was furious and announced his retirement. Then, he really disappeared and slowly faded out of people's sight. Occasionally, paparazzi will photograph the two of them traveling intimately, looking very happy. In the entertainment industry where newcomers are emerging from generation to generation, no matter how popular Chen Yugzu was at the beginning, the fire will slowly be extinguished as soon as the popularity increases. In the end, even the sparks disappeared. The big guys in the industry are actually quite sorry. However, I heard that Chen Yugzu has no regrets at all. He is happily married to his wife and has a happy family. Why, he will actually come to audition for Light and Blood today, and he will be a supporting role. The door was opened. Chen Yugzu walked in wearing a light brown long windbreaker. Behind him was his wife and manager, Tang Yuyan. Chen Yugzu is as tall as a jade tree, but his wife is indeed dwarfed by comparison. Chen Yugzu looked back at his wife, who clenched her fist at him and made a come-on gesture. So, he walked slowly to the audition table and stood still. "Hello teachers, my name is Chen Yugzu. I am here to audition for the role of Mu King Soon, the male supporting actor in Song of Light and Blood. The 4 teachers exchanged glances and signaled to the staff that they could start. While everyone waited with bated breath, Chen Yugzu's audition began. Audition, Act 1. Mu King Soon begged Ye Shao Kaiu for mercy. Sister Ye, do you believe in love at first sight? Before I met you, I scoffed. But that day, you were wearing a sky blue dress and holding a white oil paper umbrella. You walked across the bridge and glanced at the crowd. That one look, I can never forget it again. Sister Ye, I really love you. Who knew that there would be such a bold person in my family, who would assassinate your father? But, he can't represent me. Please, give me a chance, okay? I would love to be your male favorite, or your bodyguard. Servant. Groomman. As long as you are there wherever I look, I will be satisfied. Audition, Act 2 Mukingsun tears away the veil of hypocrisy. Yashao Kaiu, keep going crazy. Aren't you looking higher than your head? Aren't you treating me like a dog? I just follow you because you are valuable. Yes, sister is long, yes, sister is short. You don't really think you are infinitely charming, do you? Yashao Kaiu, did you never expect that one day you would fall into my hands and be slaughtered by me? Don't worry, I have many ways to make you miserable. You can only open your eyes and watch yourself being humiliated. The blood of your own flesh and blood will be used to forge magical weapons for our Mu family. I don't like the look in your eyes. No matter how hard you stare at me, it won't change your miserable fate. I only regret that there was an oversight in the plan and your father's old dog was left to linger for so many days. Suzuhimu nodded with satisfaction. Chen Yuxu's acting skills are impeccable. Even if he has been idle for several years, he is still second to none in the industry. He grasps the character's heart quite well. However, just as Director Su was about to speak, a deep bass voice came from the headset, and Yinga said, "Let him try to play the male lead." The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 318. Director Su was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes suddenly lit up. Why didn't I think of that? Sure enough, it has to be the original author, who has a better grasp of his own work. Chen Yuxu is simply a candidate for Best Actor. Director Su stared at Chen Yuxu and asked, "Chen Yuxu, do you want to try the male lead role?" Everyone was shocked. Hero. In most cases, the most loved and praised characters in a TV series are the male protagonist and the female protagonist. Moreover, as a starring role, the basic salary, bonus salary, and GG share are all many times higher than those of supporting roles. However, Chen Yuxu replied without hesitation, "No." Tang Yuyan, who was standing at the door, listened to her husband's words and raised her voice, "Yes." The four teachers looked at each other. Isn't this going to start a fight on the spot? Was Chen Yuxu forced by his wife to make money, but Chen Yuxu didn't want to? Everyone was wondering. I saw Chen Yuxu frowning and looking at his wife in confusion. The wife looked fierce. The producer, Gong Baiu, spoke, and she asked in a gentle tone, "Can I ask, Chen Yuxu, why you came to audition Mu King Suan?" Chen Yuxu explained calmly, "Because my wife is an avid fan of Shadow Song." Everyone who was caught off guard and stuffed with a lot of dog food said, Suzuhimu swallowed the dog food, then why can't he play the male lead? Chen Yuxu smiled in surprise, because the male protagonist has too many roles, which takes up too much time with my wife. No, my wife is pregnant. I have to sing to the baby every day, do prenatal care, and make nutritious meals for my wife. Director Su, a singleton who stuffed another handful of dog food, I don't want to hear so many details, thank you. Tang Yuyan's expression was unkind, what's in my stomach now is just a lump of flesh. It won't understand anything you say. How can I teach a fetus? Besides, I will often be on the set. Stop talking nonsense and try out the male lead's role. Chen Yuxu shook his head again, what if there are intimate scenes in it? Everyone, stop it, there's too much dog food, I can't finish it. Can't finish it? Yinga said into the headset, there are very few intimate scenes, and there won't be any overly intimate scenes. Suzuhimu then said, Chen Yuxu, don't worry about this. The screenwriter has said that there will be very few intimate scenes, and there will be no overly intimate scenes. Chen Yuxu looked back at his wife's expression, turned his head, and said reluctantly, then let me try. Immediately, a staff member came forward and handed over the male protagonist's script. Chen Yuxu read the script carefully. Why is it said that Chen Yuxu is the founder of the family? Not only is his acting skills good, his line skills are excellent, and his ability to speak lines is also excellent. Chen Yuxu just stood there reading it for 7 or 8 minutes and memorized the lines. Audition Act 1. Everyone wanted to get married, but Yesheokayu refused. Lugo Kingyun protects Yesheokayu. Yesheokayu is the clan leader. Are you able to resist the clan leader's wishes at will? My surname is foreign, but I was picked up by the old team leader. I was born as a member of the Ye family and died as a ghost of the Ye family. I have selfish motives. Yes. I have selfish motives. My selfish motives are to hope that the young master will be safe and happy, and that the Ye family will be prosperous and last for thousands of years. I am willing to support young master Ye with my life. I will never allow anyone to force her to do anything she doesn't want to do. I, Lugo Kingyun, keep my word. If anyone doesn't believe it, come over and try my sword. My words are as true as my sword. Audition Act 2. Many foreigners actually brought young talents to blind dates under the pretext of visiting. Baicha asked Lugo Kingyun if he had a man who could match Yesheokayu. Lugo Kingyun's eyes were gentle and melancholy. It doesn't matter what I think, Sheokayu is angry or not. What kind of person is worthy of my young master? Yesheokayu is a kind, stubborn and unwilling person. She is willing to use her own life to protect her people. I hope that person can understand her helplessness and persistence, see through her perseverance, and tolerate her. He is so stubborn that he can protect her with his life, hold the sword with her, and protect what she protects. Baicha looked into Master Lugo's eyes and sighed softly. The eyes of this group of people are full of desire for power, money, and status, therefore, no one among these people is worthy of being the young master. Everyone in the audience was immersed in the drama. Each of them seemed to have become Lugo Kingyun, feeling his unconditional support for Yesheokayu, feeling his pain and helplessness as a picked-up child who was always an outsider, and feeling his emotions that were buried deep in his heart and could not be expressed in words. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 319. Director Su and producer Gong looked at each other. Found the hero. Chen Yuxu should be able to catch Chen Ling's play. Chen Ling was also very satisfied with this person. He performed the role of the male protagonist in her mind. After Chen Yuxu finished his audition, he bowed to thank her and carefully accompanied his wife from the audition hall. During the next 3 hours of auditions, they finally found the actor for Mu King Suan, Zhao Weiyu, who is a third-tier star. Other unsuccessful auditions are also on the short list for other roles. Yinga said to the 4 teachers in the headset, "Thank you for your hard work, teachers. It will be up to you to decide the small roles in the future. I hope the teachers can take every role seriously. As stated in the contract, I am very interested in the role of the play. I have the highest say. If you are not satisfied, I will replace you at any time. Teachers can bring their own people into the group, but their acting skills must be online. Thank you all again." Shadow Song is a cold-blooded and ruthless man in the industry. He is not very polite when speaking, and everyone is used to it. Today's market is full of good actors. But a good script is hard to find. But people are holding the script, and even if they have opinions, they can only hold it in. That night, the official Weibo account of Light and Blood announced the cast and crew. It was like dropping a blazing torch on a dry haystack, triggering a heated discussion on Weibo. Song of Light and Blood cast and crew, hashtag Concerto lineup official announcement hashtag survive hiding in the shadows behind men, no, she has to stand up and stand in the light adapted from the novel of the same name written by leading actors, Yesheokayu et Chen Ling, Luo Kingyun at, special appearances, Mu Kingsun at, black tea at Sen, green tea at actor Gao Hang, black tea at, yellow tea at Zhujin, white tea at Isiren. It's over. It's official. Chen-Ling is the heroine. Chen-Ling has such an awesome background, winning the heroine quietly. I have friends on the set, and they said that the first person the set contacted was Sun Kisai. It's basically settled, somehow it was snatched away by Chen-Ling's sword. Sun Kisai is obviously more suitable for this role, okay. He retreated and said there was no shady story, but no one believed him. Zisai hugs me, you have been wronged, it's okay if you don't join the humming crew, who cares? Seeing the popularity, someone posted it, talking about you, at Isai is so cute. Wow. Are some people's marketing accounts so rampant? Can you please stop touching my sister Ling? My eyes saw it right. The outdated Chen Yuxu is also out in business. Blind Chen Yuxu and Tang Yuyan, the old rabbit eating grass on the edge of the nest, can you please get out? The book fan said, my heart is broken. By the way, Chen Yuxu's acting skills are really good, his dramas are played repeatedly on major TV stations, and you never get tired of watching them. Yes, he is free to fall in love, he did not cheat on his marriage, and he did not have a secret marriage, he announced it openly, and openly he is a good man. What happened to making money? I would rather watch people with acting skills acting than those traffic stars with no acting skills, concave looks, and bad money. There is actually my goddess by Kinkin, sister, post it. The only thing I'm looking forward to is Sister Kinkin's black tea. There are many little known stars in the crew, I thought it would be such a big lineup. Chen-Ling logged into the account of writing novel Shadow Song and forwarded a comment with more than 7,000 likes. Ying Ji, who writes novels, which of your friends is on the crew? If I say his name, it is malicious slander and fabrication, I will hold him legally responsible, and I will also kick him out of the crew / at Sun's Little Dao Tao. I have friends on the crew, and they said that the crew first came into contact with Sun Kisai, it's basically settled, somehow it was snatched away by Chen-Ling's sword. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 320. Shadowj reposted and commented on this Weibo, which was nothing more than adding fuel to the fire. Netizens rushed to Yinga to leave messages. What did I see? Shadow Song personally ended up? Just asking you, Miss Sun Kisai, does your face hurt? Don't bring the real owner, the actions of idiot fans should not be elevated to the level of idols, thank you. It feels like adultery. Did Yinga end up doing this just to protect Chen-Ling? Everyone, don't you have anything in mind, will it be Yinga and Chen-Ling, a rough rider vs a little fool? Hey, that person who is thinking about it, can you expand it into 20,000 words and explain it carefully, want to see. Chen-Ling went offline after posting on Weibo. She took out her phone and checked the time. 2 hours ago, Brother Lan sent a message saying that he was leaving to pick up Jichin Jiao. Have you received someone now? Are you on your way home? Did the family reunited after a long separation and cry? Asterisk. The three fathers and sons of the Zhang family were sitting in the reception room, which was 100 square meters square. Father Zhang sat on the single sofa by the window. Zhang Qilan sat alone on the stool near the door, looking at his phone expressionlessly. Zhang Qiun stood next to his father, lying on the transparent window glass of the airport VIP reception room and looking down. His face was distorted. A middle-aged bespectacled woman with gray hair on her temples walked by, pulling a suitcase. Dad, Dad, Zhang Qiun pointed at the woman and asked, is this her? Father Zhang glanced at it. No. Zhang Qiun saw another short woman wearing a colorful headscarf and sunglasses walking past with a hurried expression. Dad, Dad, is it this one? Father Zhang glanced again. Not at all like that. John Killen looked at the phone intently. Totally too lazy to care about my brother. John Kyun was unhappy. Dad, the photos you showed me were all from more than 10 years ago. I have no clue, who knows what my mother will look like now. I really want to know what she looks like now. Ah. Jiang's father was actually full of nervousness and expectation. He comforted John Kyun, after your mother comes back, you can stare at her every day until you get tired of watching or your mother gets bored. John Kyun made dozens of guesses but didn't make any guesses. He saw the old man sitting at the door at a glance. Dion ran over and leaned on his brother's shoulder. Hey, brother, what are you doing? Have you been staring at your phone for a long time? John Kyun glanced quickly. He saw a familiar name. Yashao Kai's red clothes turned darker. I don't know if it was stained with his own blood or the other party's blood. John Kyun made a sound like a groundhog. Ah, brother, you actually know how to read online novels? Who said that online novels are all crap? Huh. After saying that, he crazily leaned towards his brother's cheek, wanting to see which paragraph he had read. John Killen put a hand on John Kyun's forehead, pushed it out hard, and said with a look of disgust. What I said before was too one-sided. I take it back and apologize. Also, please stay away from me. And stay as quiet as possible. You are very noisy. John Kyun rubbed his hands and laughed. If it weren't for the fact that I am disfigured and can't film for the time being, otherwise I would also like to go to the set of Light and Blood. Brother, let me tell you another shocking secret, although I can't help it. John Killen turned the next page expressionlessly. Brother's cold attitude did not dampen John Kyun's enthusiasm. He has gotten used to it. My brother has always been a poker face, but he actually listens carefully to what he says. So John Kyun continued, the eldest sister also participated in this drama, as well as Bai Muchuan's sister Bai Kinkan. Ah, it's so good. The most surprising news is that the eldest sister was selected by Yinga to play the female lead. Where is the Lord? John Killen paused. He finally raised his eyes from the phone and looked at John Kyun. John Kyun touched his nose in embarrassment and said, Ah, actually I really want to ask the eldest sister what kind of person Ying Ji is. I'm very curious, but, it's a bit embarrassing. I was so ignorant before, I was too embarrassed to take the initiative to talk to the eldest sister. Chat. John Killen looked at his younger brother with a confused look on his face. Who will tell this stupid brother that Shadow Song is Chengling? Didn't Alexei say that? John Kyun smiled again. I'm really looking forward to Sister Touyu's performance. To be honest, I really can't think of another female artist who can play Yashao Kai well. I inquired with director Su privately, and I heard that producer Gong even cried when the elder sister auditioned. It seems that the eldest sister knows Yashao Kai very well. John Killen put his hand on John Kyun's shoulder and said calmly, she must understand. Because Yinga is Chengling.